Welcome to another episode of Locker Room Talk. We got a stack shows for y'all this evening. We're gonna dive into Shedeur Sanders was riding not once, but twice and round speeding. Got a speeding ticket. And what does that mean for Shedeur Sanders in this situation? As well, we're gonna dive into the whole new Nuggets plan, and we're gonna speak about what's going on with the co-GMs. All right, yeah, stay tuned. Drop the intro.
Let's go. Time to grind, get inside your mind. Yeah, we working overtime. That's the only way to climb. We gon' make.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to Side Talk Sports, Locker Room Talk, where we take unfiltered takes with energy and just some wild shit. You feel what I'm saying? But welcome to the Locker Room Talk, powered by RSTP Network. I'm your host, like always, Eli Griffin. Catch me on X at Eli Griffin III. Like, follow, subscribe, and all that good stuff. You feel what I'm saying? So we got a couple things going down. So first we're going to dive into Shedeur Sanders' speeding ticket and my thoughts about what really went on and what type of, I guess, trouble, non-trouble, or any trouble at all. You feel what I'm saying? So one thing I want to dive in. So this is the video of Shedeur Sanders getting pulled over.
Affirm, it's out of Colorado. How you doing? 101. Got you 101 miles an hour. You have your license proof insurance on you? Yeah, I got her at 92. Yeah, what's in there? License or? I don't need registration, I just need license proof insurance. What's your social security number? Sanders, are you, do you have an Ohio driver's license? Okay, what's your first name? Shador. Do you have a Colorado driver's license? Alright. Alright, hang tight, I'll be back in a minute.
So about the whole situation and him speeding in the situation, prior to this coming out, he did get a ticket a couple days prior to that, just pulled over on 91 and the 60. So it's not his first time being pulled over. Granted, the truck is fast, and by all means, I've driven one of those trucks, and yes, they are super fast, especially the supercharged ones. So it kind of tends to happen. Sometimes you don't realize how fast you're going. I've been through it. It's not like he was drunk or under the influence or anything like that. So I just want to make the case. It's not like a Henry Ruggs case, and that's completely different situation. Shedeur wasn't being reckless. He was on a clear highway. He was rolling, him and his girl up front. That was hit 92. It was cool for the cops to let her go and just kind of let Shedeur take the blunt of that, which at the end of the day, it's a speeding ticket. I have one not too long ago. Didn't know. So, it wasn't reckless. And honestly, sometimes you just don't realize how fast you're going. And I've been through that. I have a BMW, and that thing's smooth. You don't even realize on the highway that you're going over the speed limit or go that fast because they don't look like you're going fast. So I've been in that situation. A million other people's been in that situation. I know more people. Everybody I know got a speeding ticket at least one time. And if you didn't, you just didn't really drive. Shoot, we all been there. But you know what I mean? I think it's just more heightened. Just the simple fact is because he's Shedeur Sanders. And that's the reason why people make this bigger than what it really needs. And not even know. And now I'm not saying it's okay to go 101 in the 60. No one says it's okay. He's not doing any reckless. Like I stated before, he wasn't driving reckless. He wasn't endangering anybody. Granted, it's 101. It's still 101. So we all get it. Like I said, most of us has done it, and I think you just got to take those tickets on the chin, pay for those tickets, get some points dropped, and then move on. So enough of everybody making this bigger than it really needs to be just because his last name is Sanders. You dig what I'm saying? So he apologized. Let's just keep it moving. Like I said, take those tickets on the chin and just keep it pushing. You feel what I'm saying? And all things will be well. You know what I mean? And his brother made fun of him. And I know his dad talked to him about him speeding like that. He needs to be safe and just know what he needs to do. And here's some, I guess Pat McAfee on his show spoke a little bit about it. And just like I said, Pat even said, we all got speeding tickets. You know, would this hurt him? But we'll dive into that part of this situation later. But I want y'all to take a listen to what Pat McAfee had to say.
People get speeding tickets in Cleveland. Don't want to make too many excuses. Can't have it. Go wake up call. How are you viewing it, AJ Hawk?
Well, I mean, it's just a speeding ticket, though. That's why I'm okay with it. If it's just a speeding ticket, we're good to go, right? Like,
obviously, should not be speeding in that excess. Should not. Dangerous. But with some of these cars these days, it is very hard to keep track of how fast you're going. You're going to get your ass pulled over.
That's right.
Yep.
That is what we know.
We also know the Browns will most likely make the right decision.
That was a condescending remark from a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
I was wondering if you were being funny.
What the hell? What? Feels
And that's what I'm saying. It is some of these cars, it's hard to keep track of how fast you're going in these situations. And I want y'all to understand that that's just what it is. So I don't think he did anything wrong. I don't think he was doing that on purpose, but you know, Cleveland media is going to be Cleveland media at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So we're just going to just sit back and just see what happens here from here on out. I think everything that they probably talk, or Cleveland Browns organization probably talked to Shedeur and say, hey, slow your ass down or something. You know what I mean? So it's not that big of a deal. He'll apologize, and I'm going to show you that his apology when he was at the softball game. So I just don't, like I keep on saying, I just don't understand how it's headline news compared to stuff in the NFL. Players have been caught up in a couple speeding tickets. Really isn't that deep. So Pat McAfee was saying it. I'm saying it. Majority of the world are saying it. But I feel like the grumpy old whites, or not even grumpy, just the grumpy old people in the media, or the old school media, is just kind of, I guess, speeding is a big deal. And even though they probably had a speeding ticket, probably just not over 100 miles an hour, but they have speeding tickets. Also, not sure that's even. They also stated that Shador missed a court appearance for his first ticket he got a couple days prior, which is weird. A couple days prior to the one he got. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm not the smartest man in the world, but if you get a ticket maybe 4 days prior to the second one that everybody knows about, I don't think you have a court appearance. And no, from what I know, he didn't miss a court appearance. And from what I see, it's just bad reporting, because you either pay the ticket or you fight the ticket. And where I come from, I guess, if you pay the ticket, you just pay it and move on. You lose a couple points, and that's just what it is. You're fighting the ticket, then you appear in court. So there's no way he needed to appear in court for a speeding ticket. So that didn't make sense to me. I don't believe that bullshit. Like I said, they just want to blow it out of proportion just because he is a Sanders, which that's crazy that your last name gets you these headlines like that. It's just crazy. And again, I don't know if it's because his dad was brash and said what he wanted to say and did what he wanted to do. What's to have to do with his son? You dig what I'm saying? That should not have to do anything with any of his kids. You know what I mean? So I don't think that, but I want to show you guys his apology.
I know I be vibing, bro.
He's just a regular kid. Like, what's wrong with you?
I'm just a little boy.
He didn't do nothing wrong. I haven't seen anything wrong.
He's talking about overall in life. You know, I made some wrong choices personally, and I got owned up to him. I made some, not great choices.
He's saying that because he's an accountable person.
I learned
from the real people.
I learned.
He don't be doing it.
I learned.
He's accountable. I like it.
So I don't, like I said, he apologized. Granted, some people got mad and think that was a smug apology, but it's the apologies he's trying to make light of the situation that I feel, because I would have said the same thing like, hey man, sorry, didn't make a great choice there. And I would have laughed it off like he did. So I don't understand why people are getting mad about him. Well, mad at him about his apology. He apologized. Like I said, he probably talked to the Cleveland Brown organization and said, hey, I'll stop driving or whatever I need to do. I want to be focusing on football. And they were at, well, the very next day, they were at the Njoku, starting tight end for the Cleveland Browns softball charity game. He just made it. He just made that apology, and that's what it is. So I think people are reading too much into that apology, and I don't think it's a bad thing. So switching gears to now after the speeding ticket, let's see, what's next for Shedeur Sanders? What's next? He's gearing up for training camp that starts, I believe, end of July, so around the 22nd, 23rd. Let's make this clear. Speeding ticket is not going to hurt Shedeur Sanders when it comes to on the field. It shouldn't do. It shouldn't. Speeding, you know what I mean? Some people are saying that he's going to get cut. To me, that's laughable because you're not going to get cut for a speeding ticket. I guarantee there's a lot more players on that team that had worse offenses or worse things that happened to him, and they didn't get cut. I understand he's a 5th round draft pick, but his talent, again, is not a 5th round caliber talent. Again, what's going on now, currently in the state of football, of the whole collusion thing, like my man from Cleveland Sports Show, I always forget his name, but shout out to him. I'm sorry, brother. I forget his name. He stated perfect 100% facts and how that could have been a collusion why he dropped to the 5th round. The whole Deshaun Watson thing. It's a big thing. So check out my man on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. His show's called The Barbershop. I'm sorry for messing up your name, but yeah, he laid it out there and I'm like, that makes sense. So first off, the best quarterback, to me, he's the best quarterback in that room. Like I said, I believe Joe Flacco is going to start the season and then Shador is going to follow down the line. According to reports, his own teammates and some of the people in the building and a couple of his teammates are saying that he's going to be a great quarterback. He's the next one. So does the speeding ticket actually really matter? I don't believe so. I'm going to state that here. I'll put my word on it. Shador, just stop speeding, dog. And I don't think it's going to relate or anything on the field. Maybe you just got to earn something a little bit more, make your keep just a little bit more just to prove that it's all about ball and nothing else. This isn't a character issue. Like I said, he wasn't drunk, being disrespectful, or handled the situation. He handled the situation in a professional manner. What does this focus on? All he needs to do is focus on getting the playbook down, locking in, showing up ready for camp. That's all he has to do. This time period, like they say, this is that witching, don't do nothing stupid time. But I think with him and his maturity as a young man, I think just stay out of trouble, stay out of the public, get your playbook down and just keep it rocking. You know what I mean? And all signs he's doing that already. So I believe in him when it comes to that. And I don't see why anybody else wouldn't be able to. So just like you've seen, he was at the celebrity softball event on building relationships with his teammates, which that's one of those things where that's already a great thing. He's building relationships with not just Njoku and just all his teammates. From what I seen, the lineup was him, Njoku, Joe Flacco was there. Just some of those people, which is kind of crazy because people are talking about Shador trying to bond with his team, but you don't see Dylan Grable was not in that softball tournament. So that kind of makes you think, if you really think about it, is he getting the players on his team to follow him? So that's going to question mark on Dylan Gabriel. Is he a leader? Is he going to be able to lead a huddle or a group of men out there on the field? So again, a couple of traffic tickets ain't going to distract him from what he needs to do coming into training camp. And like I said, Shador's building leadership. It's all about ball. Let's not lose sight of what he's trying to do, not just in the community, but with his teammates. He's a leader of men. And just like if y'all ever covered him at CU, you haven't seen a player that he played with say anything wrong about his character and how he leads. So we can't really say too much about that. We're just going to say tickets, keep it pushing. Just make sure when you come to training camp, you're ready to fight for your position on the field. So if I was a coach or a GM or owner of an organization, that's what I'll be worried about. F them tickets. Let's just see. Come ready to practice and play your ass off for this year. Let's see if he's that franchise quarterback. That's what me as a GM or an organization will do. So moving on to the next situation with the media, I'm calling out Mary Kay and Tony Grossi again. I think this thing is just kind of overblown again. Mary Kay and Tony Grossi, look at their Cleveland Browns coverage. I have some things about just kind of how they do their coverage. And it's more Mary Kay than Tony Grossi. I see his points in certain things, and I'm not going to call him out because they've been doing this a long time and build up their reputation on that. Granted, I'm so glad they're not in Denver because Denver fans would kill them. I know the whole dog pound, but Denver would eat them alive if they were here doing what they're doing in Cleveland. So I want to take a moment to express my concerns about what I see the bias of these two long time Cleveland Browns writers, Mary Kay and Tony Grossi, like I said, starting with Mary Kay. It often feels like Mary Kay is more interested in generating clicks than providing solid football reporting for the Cleveland Browns. Like I said, she has a pattern of stirring up unnecessary drama, especially around players that she don't really seems to support actually, and like the past coverage of Baker Mayfield. So if you haven't seen this report by, not even a report, it's a tweet by somebody that I've seen and I thought it's about Mary Kay, but it seems like it's fitting. You know what I mean? It says have journalistic integrity. He did not miss a court date. The patrol has reportedly stated that, and you guys can read the rest. But if you read this, you can tell that she just wants. It seems like she just wants clicks, and and it kind of baffles me that she'll do something like that. You know what? I know they presented her with a trophy or whatnot, and with the Cleveland Browns, and just stuff like that. I just seems to be iffy in my eyes. But watch, here's another tweet that, let's see, from Baker Mayfield. This is when Baker Mayfield was here. Clickbait. You and many of the Cleveland local media continue to be drama stirring up reports with no sources or facts. And again, this is something that I said in previous shows that I feel like she just stirring the pot. She just stirs the pot and it just looks disgusting. Get your receipts and your facts right before you just start the narratives or created tension where it didn't exist. Like, I think that whole thing she reported on the speeding ticket, like she made it more of a narrative. She put that out there. Multiple people are seeing this. So often she's focused on the drama off the field, just like Mayfield said. Like it's kind of, I don't know. Are you writing about football or are you writing about their lives? There's a totally different thing. Go work at CNN or TMZ or some shit like that. And even so, one thing that baffles me is after Shedor's recent press conference he had, out of all the relevant football related questions she could ask, like the quarterback battle, how is he getting along with his teammates, how do you think you did, and what are you looking forward to training camp, anything like that, football related. And I just don't understand, especially with the active quarterback competition. That's what I'm saying. She decided to bring up Shedeur Sanders, dad, coach Deion Sanders, and his health situation. Like, really, what does it have to do with the Cleveland Browns quarterback? I understand that's his dad, but out of all the things that you need to know, you want to know about his dad's health. Granted, I think if there's something wrong, you probably would have heard reports coming out of Colorado, which you're not a beat writer for. So it seems like a headline grab, not responsible journalism to me. That's just how I feel about it. Now, Tony Grossi, let's be real. He doesn't seem to care about any of these quarterbacks. He currently is just a battle. He's a little bit more fair, but I don't get it. You think that he's rooting for somebody like Shador or even Dylan Gable to get to solidify the quarterback position for the Cleveland Browns, which they haven't had since Brody Kosar. So you would think that he's cheering for one of these two. But honestly, it feels like he favors Dylan, which he does, just because I feel like he don't like the Shedeur Sanders following or, cult-like following. And I think he's just an old grumpy man. And I thought I feel like the Shedeur is a better talent, and everybody believes so. Some things he says, that means Tony Grossi or Rice, just don't make sense. One of the most questionable takes he claims that the Browns' next franchise quarterback is still in college. Granted, they got 2 first-round picks for trading the Travis Hunter, or trading back from number 2 to number 4 or 5. Who knows what it was. He even went on Coach JB show with Smitty and even said, I don't believe they have their franchise quarterback. I think they'll get one next year because they have 2 first-round picks and they can move up in the to number 1 or wherever to get the quarterbacks coming out next year. It's a deep quarterback class. I call bullshit on that. Tony Grassi, I call bullshit on your quarterback takes because I think this quarterback class is not good at all. I didn't believe this past one with Shedeur and Cam Ward was good either. But this one might be a little bit better, but I don't see not one single person, maybe Arch Manning. That's even if he gets out, because you know how the Mannings are. They want to be ready to come into the NFL. And let's be honest, I don't believe Arch Manning is going to come out next year. I believe he's going to get 2 years of solid playing time before he even comes out. So, like I said, Tony Grassi, call bullshit. I feel like you just said F these 2 young quarterbacks that came out. I know your boy is Dylan Gabriel, but Shedeur Sanders is better than, to me, all the quarterbacks that's coming out next draft. So I don't understand it, but we'll see. I'm going to show you. Like I said, here it is on the screen. This is what he believes. But, that's the only thing we can see. But I want you guys to understand, he thinks these quarterbacks. Here's the top 10 quarterbacks coming out next year or eligible to come out the college or next year's NFL draft. This top 10 was curated and brought to you by, I guess you want to say, Joe Klatt, Colorado kid and whatever. And he's pretty spot on with quarterbacks. He has Kay Klubnik, Arch Manning, Drew Eller, Garrett, I don't know, I said Nears Heiser, whatever his name is, DJ Lagway, Sam Lovett, Lenore Sellers, Carson Beck, John Meter, Meter? Yep. And then Sawyer Robinson. Okay. My take is Shador's better than all these guys. Kay Klubnik, I thought he was terrible. Last year, didn't really like him. I seen him against SMU. It wasn't the best. Or the ACC championship. Didn't think he was that good at all. Arch Manning, like I said, I don't think he's even going to come out this year. I think he's going to be 2 years down the road, especially if a franchise that the Mannings don't like is at number 1. He is out of here. He is not coming out. The only one I like on this list is DJ Lagway. And honestly, I still think he has up and downs. So I'm not sure. And this to me is not a deep quarterback class. So I disagree wholeheartedly with everybody that says this is a deep quarterback class. So I don't know what they're talking about when they say a franchise quarterback is in this group. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. But you never know what can turn out. But I don't see from this group that we're seeing, I don't see any quarterback that is better than Shedeur Sanders right now. I see maybe 2, 3 better than Dylan Gabriel, but I don't see one better than Shedeur Sanders. And I'm telling you, I'm a ride with Shedeur Sanders as the best quarterback in this past draft, and long term, he's going to be the best one in this class. So that's how I see it. So Tony Grassi, you need to understand a couple of things, brother. I think your time has passed, man. I think your time has passed. When it comes to evaluating football, this is not 1992. You know what I mean? This is not 92. This is not the 90s. It's a different era. And I don't think that you're able to see it anymore. That's just my point of view. And personally, I don't believe any of those quarterbacks is what you think they are. So those are my beef, and that's my call out for those 2 reporters, those Cleveland Brown reporters. Like I said before, all they do is stir up drama and clickbait stuff to people have to read the articles or pay for reading the article, get subscriptions on their newsletter, on their on all that good stuff. There's nothing really relevant about football. It's all about is that battle, or is Shador this type of person? And this is the reason why he fell to 5th round. And to be honest with you, I feel like he fell for. I feel like it might be collusion after I seen what I seen, that he dropped to the 5th round. And all stems from Deshaun Watson. If not, go check out my man at the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. He'll run it down. And like I said before, shout out to him, man. I think that's all what it's about. So now I want to dive into, how can I say this? The Nuggets. Denver Nuggets got new leadership. They got co-GMs. Not exactly sure how that's going to work. After major shakeup after firing their GM and head coach Michael Malone, Josh Kroenke has opponent Ben Teaser and John Wallace at co-president of operations. Not as sure how that's going to work, but that's something new. That's unorthodox of what he says, I guess you want to say. But, this is a nightmare scenario, I believe. But hey, if it works, Josh Kroenke is a genius. I'm just going to say that now. So here's the clip.
And, I think that for us as an organization, going into that second apron is not necessarily something that we're scared of. I think that there are rules around it that we needed to be very careful of with our injury history. The wrong person gets injured, and very quickly you're into a scenario where that I never want to have to contemplate, and that's trading number 15. And so, we're very conscious of that pushing forward, and, providing the resources that we can when the moment arrives. But that second apron, is it a hard cap? I'm not 100% sure, but it's something that teams are obviously very aware of going forward.
Okay, so you heard something in there that nobody in Denver Nuggets lore wants to hear. So he stated in the conference, he mentioned the nightmare scenario where an injury to the wrong player, which is whoever it may be, under the financial pressure of the second apron, could force the team to consider trading Jokic. Okay, I guess he maybe said that to somebody, or maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe he took a shot at somebody without really understanding what he said. I don't know exactly what's going on, but now I don't think it's real possible, a real possibility that they'll trade Jokic ever in their life, and then he's able to sign a new deal on a new 3-year extension, which he probably will do that. Maybe not. Who knows? And at the end of the day, anybody's tradable but him. So let's be honest. I don't think he's ever going to trade him. Everybody is tradable but him. Maybe he's trying to, spark somebody's ass, and, with injury problems, I guess. I don't know, like maybe Jamal Murray. Who knows why he said such a thing. But there's no accident. He said it on something. Or just one of those one-off cut comments, and it definitely got people talking. I can tell you that, because it's been all over, and everybody's been talking about. He said that he's going to trade NIKOLA Jokic. No, not so ever. So the two GMs, we're just going to see. This whole situation to me is kind of weird and baffling, because you just don't know what's going on with the Nuggets. Us as Nuggets fans want Denver to get back to competing for championships again. Granted, I know they made the playoffs, but they only had really a 6-man rotation. You couldn't trust some of the young guys. I know we need to develop more, but at the end of the day, we need to figure something out with that. And Jokic, like he stated before in the press conference, his end of the year press conference, he needs more help. We need to get guys healthy. We need to, matter of fact, what they need to do is go talk to the Denver Broncos strength and conditioning coach, or whoever trains the Broncos, because he seems like he's doing something right. Maybe you need something like that. If I was Josh Kroenke, I will go out there and be like, hey, what are you doing to keep your guys healthy? Because it seems like either Jamal's hurt, MPJ's hurt, and Aaron Gordon's been hurt all year this year. So maybe go ask what they're doing out there. So now I want to know what's next for the Denver Nuggets. You know what I mean? With the new CBA rules limiting flexibility and the majority of the salary caps tied up to the four core players in Jokic, Jamal, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., the Nuggets are in a tight spot, to be honest with you. So we'll just see. They don't have a pick in this year's draft. They got Deron Holmes the second. Last year in the draft, got injured. It's unproven, and got injured in summer league last year. I think he tore his Achilles last summer. And it feels like, I guess they're treating that as a first round draft pick this year. I know they need to develop Strother and couple other players, but key questions for the Nuggets, and not just for the Nuggets, but everybody has questions on this. Can they land an impact free agents with limited cap space? Who knows? I believe Bruce Brown is a free agent, and maybe you can get him on the cheap, since he made all that money with Toronto and wherever else did he go? Indiana. He went to like 3 places since the Nuggets. Maybe you get lucky with him. With Holmes, Peyton Watson and Pickett, kind of develop them more. Maybe that can lead up to more depth on the bench, and maybe they can go ahead and take a bigger role within that depth. Could cut and move Zeke Naji to free up some more flexibility. Like I said, previous GM killed us with the Zeke Naji extension. I think he could have just let him go a long time ago. Again, they also dropped the ball letting Pope go to Orlando. They had a chance to sign him. Honestly, I love Russ, but I'd rather have Caldwell Pope than to have Russ. Younger, fresh legs, plays better, plays defense, and he's a better shooter. Let's just say that. I think if we'd have just kept him, maybe bring Bruce Bowen back, Brucey B, that would have been, enough right there with 7-man rotation. So it's going to be kind of hard to try to see what the Nuggets do when it comes to this. So I'm intrigued on seeing and very interested to see what those two GMs will do with the Nuggets without having draft picks, trying to get some type of free agents on the bench. I don't know what we got to do, but we're going to have to move some things around. Like I said, I think Zeke Naji needs to go. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. I just think his time has passed. If the Nuggets want to remain two title contenders in the West, just need a deeper bench. We all say that, but also we got to make sure Jokic is happy. We got to make sure we stay out of the cold tub, stay out of the training room with MPJ, Jamal Murray, and Aaron Gordon. I think with that core four and Christian Brown, I think we're good with that starting five. I just think we need about 3 more players to add in for some depth, and hopefully we can develop Peyton Watson, Pickett, and Stoudemire, and Holmes can come along. Hopefully we'll have that, that makes, if we get 3, that's 5, 3 good free agents, maybe just 2, get at least to a 9-10 deep rotation for the Nuggets and help Jokic out, but they need to score around them. It seems like they have their up and down, so if we can get them more consistent, I think consistency off the bench will help Jokic, and Jokic will be happy. We always got to make sure the stars first, and hopefully Josh Conklin is talking to Jokic like, hey man, what type of player do you need so we can continue this run? Everybody says Jokic got 4 to 5 years left in his prime. I think he has a little longer because he's not predicated on athleticism. So I think he's going to prolong him a little longer than most NBA superstars. You know what I mean? No one's LeBron, but I'm just saying it's not predicated on athleticism. So I think he'll have a longer role when it comes down to that. So hopefully the Nuggets can do something in this free agency. Maybe add two to maybe 3 pieces on the bench, just good players. I was willing to maybe trade one of the 4. Most likely MPJ, you'll probably get the most for just because he's younger. I honestly think that if MPJ can take another jump, like I said, stretch out the floor, we just need to get more shooters around Jokic. I say this, get shooters around Jokic and some people that can play a little bit of defense. If you get 1 shooter, 2 shooters and somebody, to help Murray bring up the ball, that'd be better. Aaron Gordon improved a lot on his shot. Christian Brown improved a lot on his shot in the overall game. MPJ was just hurt. We know he can shoot. We know he can score. And just get a little bit better on defense and just stay out of the training room. If they can do that, I think Denver Nuggets will be more title contenders and just do it again. I think to be listed as one of the greatest of all time, Jokic needs 1 more title. You know what I mean? I think he has 2 left in him. I think he has 2 title runs left in him, and I think that can happen. But like I said before, y'all leave your comments in the bottom and see what y'all think about what the Nuggets could do or should do with their free agents or with the lack of free money they have for free agents. I know I've seen a lot of things about trading somebody, getting some cap space with a bunch of trades. KD went to the Houston. People are getting better in the West, and Nuggets need to get better. Honestly, I think their starting 5 is probably some of the best starting 5s in the NBA, but we need that consistent bench play. We need somebody to score off the bench. We need that scorer. So, Bruce Brown, come back, dog. Come back. Come back to us, please. With him, maybe another shooter, and develop the rest of these guys. I think we're good. Peyton Watson, he played good minutes. I think he's good, a good defender. Just got to get his shot right. Get his shot right. You know what I mean? And we'll see what De'Ron Holmes, I know he's about to play in the Summer League, so I'm going to keep my eye on that as well. So again, that's a wrap for Side Talks Locker Room Talk with me, Eli Griffin. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit me up on X at, again, Eli Griffin, I. Look out for Side Talk Sports podcast with me as well. And coming soon, Side Talk Sports, Orange and Blue Country with my boy Larry, starting right before the NFL, before we hit training camp. So I'm gonna have a co-host on that show. So stay tuned for that. Like, comment, subscribe, run it up for your boy. I appreciate y'all for listening to me, hearing my point of views and my takes. If you want to debate, go ahead and leave a comment. Join the community. Very much appreciated. To the next time. Peace.